I guess the thing that we really want to talk about though is I mean, while we're going down Debo memory lane over here, shouting them out and everything like that.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess we were just waiting to get to that point.
but in terms of the main, I guess that was the first part, but the main headline was he received the envelope from Coach Tomlin and the reason why it's a big deal, if it is true, because we don't know, and we'll get into more of that, but the reason why it's a big issue is because the way the fines are structured and set up, that once a player is fined, he is not allowed to be reimbursed or compensated by the club, by any players, coaching staff. Nobody can reimburse him. He has to be the sole person paying that. And that's that. If not, then they transition into that whole bounty thing, which was why Sean Payton was upset, because he said, well, man, essentially what's going to happen is you're going to sweep it under the rug because of the Steelers. Whereas remember, they did the whole witch hunt where it was Greg Williams who was basically in charge of the whole the whole bounty gate thing. But because it was under Peyton got in trouble. Remember, the whole organization was getting fined and things like that. So that's why he was a little upset.
Is that more his complaint, is that he was the scapegoat?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, I'm the scapegoat here. But this guy, James Harrison, just went on and admitted that Coach Tomlin was, the way they are putting it out there is as if Coach Tomlin had paid him back for the money that he was fined.
Right.
And that was exactly what they said the whole bounty thing was, when they were giving guys extra money to go do dirty hits and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess the difference, I don't know what the line is or whatnot, but it seems with the Saints one, and I'm not 100% sure on this either. Maybe you could attest to this, but it seems like that was more beforehand. Where,
what do you mean?
You know,
same time frame.
No. Beforehand, as in, all right, you take this guy out, you know, we're gonna pay you. Whereas this, if were to be true, only an envelope. We don't know. It could be a written note or something. It could be a gift card. I don't know.
Well, even if it was a gift card, then technically that's a violation.
maybe just one to like Applebee's or something, like a $25.
Still a violation.
All right, so that let's just say it was a handwritten note.
Like, what?
Party invitation. Hey, it could be anything. It was just an envelope. We don't know what was in it. But if it was the money, then that was more like less after the fact. It seems like, just from this story.
Right. Well, the thing
after the fact, and just saying, hey, I'm looking out for my player. Where the bounty gate thing is almost beforehand.
Right.
Do this, and then you get money for it.
But the two things where they are very similar is this: it wasn't as if James Harrison was only fined one time.
Right.
So if that was the theory that you were going with, in terms of, he only gave it to him after the fact. Remember, James still went on to get fined multiple times, even after that Browns game. So was this the first thing, and then from there, now it's become status quo?
Right. We don't know what happened after the fact.
So anything where if you,
it's not a good look. We'll put it.
Yeah.
We'll put it.
I'll put it like this, man. If we're defending this situation, don't go the route of who knows what was in the envelope, because the intent is there and it doesn't look good. And tradition, what they say, where there's smoke, there is fire. So I would rather the whole debate or defense be, well, maybe the envelope thing never happened.
Well,
because that's a lot safer than the route you're trying to take of who knows what's in the envelope. What if it's this?
It can't be proven. So,
well, you're right. But at the same time, if James is saying that, who knows what can or cannot be proven? Who knows what else he would say?
What do you mean?
So, for example, nobody even knew about this incident until what? Until James said it, right?
Yeah.
So, if James said, I feel some type of way about Coach T, and I want to continue on this thing about the organization as well, because I know they would get the ramifications of this, what's to stop him from saying, well, you know what? Shoot, actually, it was $500,000 in that envelope. Can't prove it, but I'm telling you what it was. I'm testifying. That's a different situation now. You don't have to worry about the proof, because you got a guy that was directly involved with it who's admitting that this is what it was. You see what I mean?
Who's admitting it? James, yeah.
It wasn't like somebody did an investigation and found out about the envelope. James said that. So if James really wanted to go down that path, he could. It's different.
So what scenario plays out where this happens?
If James wants to continue to push this thing, like, that's the issue. He just simply said it out there, and that's why you saw Mr. Rooney have to come on and make a statement about it.
You think he would, because other people are saying now Mr. Rooney and his agent saying, this never even happened, where that could almost be poking him more and saying, I ain't lying.
Right,
like
because
this.
now you're trying to assassinate his character. Is his integrity? Is he telling the truth? Is he not telling the truth? So that could inspire him to say more, to reveal
He's
more.
not part of the team anymore.
And you know how it left, man. It was on bad terms.
Yeah.
And ultimately, in that same interview that he did, he was talking about a little bit of his departure in that last year in 2017 and how everything played out. And I had the first-hand seat, man, in terms of being able to watch it and communicate with him throughout the whole situation. It was crazy. But at the same time, like, you can understand some of his quarrels with Coach Tomlin and the organization as well, though. So I definitely see both sides of it. But when I'm looking at this situation in terms of him saying that statement about the envelope, if he really wanted to continue down that path, he could make it a lot messier, more so for the Steelers and as an organization as a whole, than it would be on him necessarily. Because it's not like he can get fined now. It's not like he can get suspended now. But the team, they can get fined. The team, they can definitely have, ramifications for these actions.
This is not good for us right now. In terms
which is why I thought it was funny that you saw how quick Mr. Rooney came out and said something, and even his agent said something. I was like, man, traditionally, I mean, stuff comes out. These guys aren't jumping down there to make a statement, but just because of the seriousness of this, and like I said, the parallels to the whole Bounty Gate situation, that's why I think that is getting talked about the way it's getting talked about now.
Okay, so what I will say then too, with Harrison receiving this letter, is that it seemed like
he said letter,
envelope, whatever, envelope, letter, whatever. They kind of go hand in hand usually.
Unless it's like a letter saying that, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount of money.
I owe you.
Sheesh.
It seems he mentions it was the Gius thing that's happened.
Yeah.
It seems like he was surprised, and him mentioning it like this is the Gius thing. It doesn't sound like.
No, the context when he's talking about it's the most Gius thing, it's like the most gangster thing, like almost like mafioso style, like, bro.
That's what I mean. It seems like it's more of a surprise to him, as opposed to maybe a continual thing, or this was just how it was.
If this was the initial thing, though, that's the thing, because he never really elaborated more so on it.
No.
So if this is the initial thing, that's totally different. But even if it's a one-off, it's still wrong.
As a looking back, though, as a one-off, it's
no way around it. If it happened, it's wrong. If it happened, you're in trouble.
By the letter of the law, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think as like a player, though, or just even a person, you're just like, all right, I mean, my coach, the guy that's ahead of me is looking out for me. It's kind of, you're right. It's not necessarily correct or right, but I think it's something that's appreciated at least, no?
No. It's different between a player appreciation and why the rules are the rules. The reason why it's set up that way is because if you know as a player, my coach is going to take care of my fine, or a different player is going to take care of my fine,
you'll be reckless.
Exactly. And then when you look at the way the hits were happening after that, and the things that he was saying to Goodell after the fact, it makes you wonder. Well, maybe he did know he had this ace in the hole, essentially, something backing him.
Man.
And that's, you took us down that road. I didn't want to go that road. You said that. I don't want
to believe it.
You said it. You said, man, hey man, that'd be kind of cool, man. Makes you feel good as a player, right? Yeah.
I think you would. I mean, we did mention that, but I mean,
you don't think the Saints players felt good when they came in there the next day after making a big hit, knocking somebody out, and hey man, there you go, player.
I'm not saying that I don't understand why it's the rule. I mean, it should be the case. I mean, you don't want this type of stuff in your league where, people are getting paid to hurt other people or just making it seem like it's cool, hard and bad hits, illegal hits. But it's just one of those things you wish weren't said. I'll put it that way. Like, this is bad, right? Like, it's just not a good look right now. Hopefully it is kind of swept on the rug for our sake. Because we are the Steelers. If it was any other team, I would just be like, Because in a vacuum, it is kind of an interesting, cool story. But for right now, it's
or
this could be problematic.
Or imagine if it was us on the receiving end of that. Say that was Juju getting knocked out.
Everyone would be furious.
Absolutely. Or say Ben was one of the quarterbacks that got blasted like that.
If it was like a Bengals coach.
Yeah, you would not feel that way right now. Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too thrilled.
Yeah. Just keep the same energy. That's all.
I'm being straight up though. It's the Steelers, and I'm biased, so that's all I'm saying. But yeah, right now it's gonna be interesting how it plays out. It's gonna really rely on Harrison then, if anything goes further, right? Because right now nothing can be proved.
Right, nothing can be proved. But if Goodell and the NFL say, "Hey, we want to investigate this now," I mean, you go directly to the source. You go to James, then you're gonna go to anybody that was potentially in the locker room area, like his lockers next to him. But at the same time, if you're James, you control the power.
I was gonna say, what incentive do you have if you're James to be talking to Goodell like that?
Well, for James, first off, I don't think because you didn't see firsthand
because it feels like a bad look just for the James and Steeler Nation relationship. Then, but if he goes down that path, at this point he hasn't.
The thing though, if you could have saw 2017, I mean, you've heard the reports of how he was. You even heard him in this interview in terms of talking about how he would go in there every day asking to be released in that 2017 season. Every day. Yo, can you release me? Yo, release me. You lied to me. Release me. Some of the things that he was doing, in terms, he talked about faking a back injury. We've seen it firsthand. I can't practice it. My back hurt. Going there and lift 600-700 pounds. You're like, God, dog, this is crazy. Like, we know what's up. You know what I mean? But you could just, you know what I mean? Like, it was going down a very, very dark path. That's all I'm saying. So for James, if this is his chance to say, you know what? Y'all want to stick it to me my last season, right? Here's my chance to get back to you.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And then take it a step further, right? Take it a step further, because let's be real, not all the Steeler Nation loves James right now. Some of them are like, oh, he went to the Patriots, a traitor. I've seen guys even going as far as saying, man, he owes the team more than the team owes him. Like his accomplishments in terms of that Super Bowl play at the Depot, that ain't nothing compared to, Mr. Rooney still took him after the incident with him and the mother of his child. Like, he should be begging us. He was cut multiple times, undrafted. We took a chance on him. So depending on the route he want to go,
how he views that.
Yeah, he could take it a totally different way. Because you speak from a positive standpoint of Steeler Nation. Mm-hmm. Obviously, me and his relationship is we have a personal relationship, so it's a lot different than your perspective and Steeler Nation's perspective in terms of what we allow, what I wouldn't allow, don't allow, cool with, not cool with. It's totally different. But when you factor in all those things, James could look at it and say, you know what? I got something for all of y'all. Because he has that power.
He
does.
Like you said, the ball is in his court right now.
And if it came down to, well, who's the witnesses? It could be simply do you think that Coach Tomlin would give me an envelope in the locker room in front of everybody? No, he's going to wait till we were in private to give me an envelope. And of course, an envelope that had money. Oh, you want to see the deposit? Well, obviously you look at the deposit I was making during that year. Or it was cash. See the road we can go down there? And now it's going to be his word versus Coach T's word. And then once the media gets a hold of it, we already know once the media gets a hold of it, you're not even innocent until proven guilty. If you're the Steelers, you become guilty until you can prove otherwise. And then from there, media still gets a hold of it. We've seen guys get suspended, get in trouble when they weren't even in it, when they weren't even bad all the way. But because the media had went so crazy around it.
Yeah, that's what I don't want right now.
And in terms of timing, if Debo was strategic with this thing and did it the way, because we're not saying that he did this intentionally.
It didn't seem like he was just talking in passing.
But if he were to have done it intentionally, this would be the perfect time, because off season, if you want to get somebody really talked about, you do it in the off season because it's nothing else. In the regular season, it's a game happening next week. You're not thinking about it. Mm. You know what I mean? Oh man, it's a big game Sunday night. Man, if I drop this info on Wednesday, it's gone by Friday, Saturday. Yeah. Right now, what are we looking forward to?
Dude, why do we gotta be in the news cycle like this? I don't want this. This was redemption tour for Ben. Mm-hmm. This was supposed to be an epic. I don't want any of this stuff.
Hey man. and I guess for me, I'm always torn, because initially I was like, bro, come on, man. This can't be real. But then I said, man, I've known Debo for what? Let's see, played together 4 years, been retired for what, a year now. So going on 6 years essentially. And I can't remember him ever lying.
No, I was thinking that myself.
He does not lie.
I was thinking that myself.
To a fault, it's bad. Like sometimes you're like, Debo, just lie. Like, stop. And he's like, nah. Like that's the one. And he's always big on like his father, rest his soul. But he's always like, yo, my dad taught me this. My dad would say this. My dad said you can't do that. And to a fault, he's going to ride with it, bro.
And that's why you got to have in the back pocket that, it could be a letter. It could be a party invitation or something like that. It can't be proven it was cash.
Unless he says it was.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So nothing is out yet.
Because you would hate to go down the path of the organization tries to come out and say, oh, no, it was a party invitation letter.
No, I'm not part of the organization. That's why I'm saying it.
And then it's like, I'm not questioning Coach
as a joke.
Either.
As a joke as well.
Question Coach Tomlin as a because I have a great relationship with him as well, and that organization as well. But if I had to make a list of coaches that I think would go the G route, right, the gangster approach route, Coach Tomlin does fall under that list. If I had to make a list of who I think would compensate a player, it would be him. It would.
We don't know though. We don't.
But I'm just saying, if I had to think of one, he's on that list. I think he'd be on that list. Belichick would definitely be on that list.
Belichick, how would he do it though? I don't think he does it in person. I think he sends like an assistant. Why would he have to do it
in person? Now, everybody's more than one. I mean, it's like the mob. Okay, he didn't have to shoot him directly, but he told that guy to shoot him. I mean, either way, the job's getting done. There's more than one way to skin a cat. That's all I'm saying, baby.
Right. I don't think the player in Belichick's situation actually knows it's coming from Belichick. It would be more of a 5 to 10 year thing down the line where they're looking back and like, man, does this add up?
But you think about the mob.
Belichick wouldn't even give a wink or anything.
It's more than one way to do it. Either way, though, the job gets done, right?
You're right.
And at the end of the day, when you trace it all back, it comes right back to the same person, right? The mastermind of it all, right?
Yeah. Is there anyone else? Reckless speculation?
Man, jeez. Who would be on the list of doing G-like actions?
Peterson, maybe?
Oh. I think I could see Andy Reid, too.
No way.
I think I could. Bro.
Really?
Andy's a player's coach. Guys love to play for Andy. Think about that. Andy let him go to bat for you.
Okay.
Because essentially that's what it is. It's not as if they're saying like F you Goodell. They're saying like, hey,
no, and that's what
I got your back.
And that's what I was saying earlier. It is a cool story from that standpoint, and the players I'm sure would appreciate it. Any employee would appreciate that if their employer or manager would do something like that for them, stick their back out. Yeah. But yeah, it's just this could be a tough stretch here.
Right. And the reason the sole purpose of why it's an issue is just because you incentivize the behavior.
Right. It's making it okay.
Because I guess it's different. Like if say you're working a regular 9 to 5 and the tax bill comes up unexpectedly for you, man, I really can't afford this right now. But your boss says, hey, look, I got you. I'm going to take care of that. That's not as bad as, hey, Deke, you can't hit these guys like that. You're getting fined because you almost killed them.
I don't know. What would be a scenario similar to this? I don't even know.
Because this is totally different in this regard, in this vein. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, because it is. There's 32 teams. Mm-hmm. There's comparisons going back and forth like, oh, you treated this team or these players one way.
Right.
I mean, what other organization has all this kind of different stuff at play where one ruling made however many years ago, you're looking back on that as a basis and you're kind of judging it. All right, what's going to happen now? Is he going to treat these people or this organization the same way? I don't know. Yeah, what? Man. There's because you have the organization itself, the team, how everything operates under that, but then you have the NFL and the commissioner works for the owners and
it's a weird dynamic,
don't know,
man.
dude.
It's a lot of moving parts, buddy. A lot of moving parts, man.
What other scenarios? Like, obviously, other pro sports teams are like that, but outside of sports, I don't know. So I get what you're saying. Like, what act in a normal? I don't know, dude.
Yeah. So I guess the real question is, do you believe it?
Do I believe it? Do I believe James Harrison?
Yeah, because or do you believe Mr. Rooney? And I want to know
Rooney or agent.
Which one are you more loyal to? Because I see how loyal you are to Ben, right?
Yeah.
But we know that Debo is directly a part of one of those Super Bowls that holds you so near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
And I know how biased you feel about these guys, right?
Right.
And your love for them. You would never think that Ben could lie. You would never think that Debo could lie. You would never think that anybody on the Steelers could lie. So now we have this situation here.
Well, we had even conflicts of interest with AB. You're not thinking AB's
right.
lying either.
Hey,
so what's going on here?
Hey man, so you tell me, man. Do you believe James received something?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I told you. I mean, there's no reason to believe that James is lying. There's no reason to believe that.
Oh man, Debo, why would you come on, Debo? That's my guy. I love it.
There's no reason to believe.
This is such a Debo like thing, bro.
There's no reason to believe he's lying. So yeah, it's as simple as that, really.
Okay.
And going back to what you're saying about loyalty to players and this and that, I mean, you would be surprised. I mean, you probably think I'm way more loyal to like the Steelers and the brand and that.
No, you're loyal to Ben.
Which I am. Nah, I'm loyal to the brand.
Stop it. Ben over brand.
Nah,
yes, we've already proven this.
Dude, I'm a players guy too. I didn't think much of James when he left. I didn't think much of AB when he obviously it wasn't in the most or the best way.
Right.
But everyone's their own individual. I don't know as a fan sitting back what side of the story is happening and what's really going on behind the scenes. So I'm just not much of a judging person just from that standpoint. So I like we were saying at the beginning, I still like Harrison a lot. I still like AB a lot.
I ain't got no issues with it.
Yeah, exactly. So I just didn't know if you thought that would be a surprising thing or not, because there's a bunch of Steeler fans that you said earlier that feel burned by Harrison and burned by AB.
In 2017, when everything went down and he finally got his release to sign with the Patriots, you realize I had lockers where 2 lockers down, guys are bashing Debo.
Oh, so that was even going on.
Yes. You remember when Bud made his statement, Pouncey made his statement? Absolutely. It was going crazy. I'm like, they're talking crazy about him, but yet it's times where me and him are still having conversations. Like, it was the awkward moment of, dude, I've been hanging around this dude pretty much every day for 4 years, obviously being in the same position group with him, teammates, like, you get close. I'm like, man, this is nuts. Y'all going crazy like this. I don't feel that way. I look at it like it's business. But at the same time, me and him both were in similar situations in 17 as well, going into that season. And the mindset from, pre-season starting to once it happened was night and day in terms of what was communicated. And that was ultimately the reason why everything played out the way it did. Now, granted, I always say this, we could have handled it 2 separate ways. I handled it one way, he handled it another way. And, but that was more his approach, and I took my
he
approach.
Almost got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I said for him, honestly, I thought it was a win for both parties. I said for the Steelers, they were big on not releasing him because they said, obviously, you need somebody behind TJ if TJ were to go down. You got to make sure you got this guy ready to go, and he was ready to go, but TJ never went down. So that was a win for the Steelers. Obviously, TJ has went on to have a very successful career, even though it's only been short right now. It's been very successful. But if you're James, he wanted to compete for a Super Bowl. He wanted to get playing time. He wanted to be back out there. He got to do that right off the bat in New England. So for him, he won. So I look at it like everybody was good. And for me, I won because I got my money. So I won't try.
Yeah, sometimes that type of stuff happens. How it happens isn't necessarily the best way, but finally getting to that point where both sides win. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess that's what matters. But now we're in this situation. So what do
my only thing that I don't like about this situation right now is this incident that is being communicated. And like you said, I don't think that Debo has any reason to lie. I'll just leave it as it could have been a miscommunication in terms of, hey, I'm giving you an envelope for something totally different. But the miscommunication could be that he interpreted it as this is for these benefits.
I like that better. I like that better.
So that way everybody's telling the truth, but it could just been a miscommunication.
That's actually way better than saying the letter or the...
Yeah, because what you were going down, I'm like, bro, you tripping. That would get you knocked.
But it can't be proven.
It can be proven. You have a person willing to testify. It can be proven.
No, if he does. He does. So I'm saying that. I'm not the Steelers organization.
Nah, I don't even want to put it in a position where, that happened like that. No, I'd rather it's, oh man, coach just randomly was giving him something that was for 2 weeks away from time, but it didn't even deal with that, and it was just miscommunicated because the timing of everything. That's the approach I'm going with because I'm biased to both guys.
I like that better.
You know what I mean? I'm biased organization and to Debo. I'm sorry, but